Are you ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknext.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
Fucking Thursday. Am I right? It's funny. All right. Let's see. What do we got to do? All right. Let's get that there. Hello. Oh yeah, trade deals, Mofisias. Well, that's good. We have other stuff we got to talk about. Oh, what did Kraken Pro just mess with me? Filecoin is up. Yeah. Woo. I mean, well, we've had a few months of getting our dicks kicked. So we're allowed to appreciate a day or two here or there where things go up. We're allowed to have a little fun. It's not like you were selling today. Although there are some things I'm looking at clipping. If this market keeps melting up, there's definitely some goings to the sideline-zing I'm going to do. And by sidelines, I mean just taking that money and throwing it in the options market. That's all. All right. All in good time. Okay, so we're going to talk about crypto heist. North Korea may have finally done, they just keep prodding. And so they might have prodded one too many. And so basically they're going to get a stern talking to. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Arizona governor signing a basically useless bill into law. If Bitcoin's been sitting around dormant for 3 years, unclaimed, all that unclaimed Bitcoin that just sits there, you just go, in the Arizona streets, like if you're driving through Phoenix, you just look at all those empty shops that say where the for lease signs are, and you just know there's a lot of unclaimed crypto in there, a lot of unclaimed Bitcoin just sitting there waiting for the state to scoop it up. Stupid. Anyway, they signed that. She signed that into law. Just a useless ass. Anyway, I'll read it. And then Coinbase has finally concluded or inked the deal to purchase Deribit, which is interesting. It is interesting. If Deribit comes to the U.S., this is a big if, and it would take a while, and there would be some regulatory, I think, some hurdles. But if Deribit was opened up to the U.S., they do a lot of volume. Then it might make sense to go back to because you can do the same thing we're doing with IBIT at Deribit, right? You can sell cash secured puts against USDT. You can sell covered calls against Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can put all those suckers to work. Pretty interesting. You say, well, what about my leverage? I can borrow against, right? Well, you could still do that. You could still borrow against your Bitcoin, grab stablecoin, push it over there, and use it. You could still borrow against your Ethereum, grab stablecoin, push it over there. You might elect to take your profit in Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. Anyway, we'll read about it. If you have any questions, any kind of crypto related questions, let's see. Oh, cool, Robert. Nice. Yeah, man, I liked Deribit, although I will tell you this. I watched Deribit pull a scam one time. So this is the best advice I can give anybody using Deribit, and really just investing in general. Do not use margin leverage, because what Deribit will do, if you use any margin, every now and then at 3 a.m., you'll see a spike. Boop, boop. One moment, one fraction of time. They do it to harvest a bunch of leverage. They do it over and over. They've done it a lot. Maybe they'll do it less. Maybe with Coinbase in charge, they won't try to, break the law. But they absolutely, I watched them do it and hoover up leverage doing that. So they would, I remember Bitcoin was around 40K. And I watched a client of mine, and he did 2x leverage, which you don't do that, but he did 2x leverage. One blip, boop boop. They immediately nuked him. They took his Bitcoin. The price actually closed higher, meaning his trade was correct. It was a winning trade. That options premium should have been his, as well as his Bitcoin. What he had, no more Bitcoin. He had his options premium, but he lost the Bitcoin because of a blip. And I called him out on it. I wrote a angrily worded email. And I basically said, I caught you guys. I know what you guys are doing. And then I got an email back that said, well, you're something like because I emailed from the US and I was logging in from the US. Well, you're in a restricted area anyway. You can't be on the exchange. I said, yeah, I know, but you're not arguing that I'm wrong. You're arguing that I'm in the wrong country. So what you're saying is you're allowed to break the law because I'm in the US and you're not. I mean, it was basically an admission. Somewhere I have all those emails because I was like, these dudes just admitted to breaking the law. But this was several years ago. This is going to be 20, no. This would be 2020. Yeah. This would be 2020 or 2021. It was the slow run towards 69K. Yep. Anyway, there. Let's see. Is Ripple's attempt to buy Circle an admission that RLUSD has failed? I would say yes. I would say clearly yes. Other than having a bunch of money now listen, Ripple is kind of in a weird spot. I mean, I'm sure they have hundreds of employees and they've been around forever. Why? Because a bunch of dummies have financed them. But same thing with GameStop. Ripple is like crypto's GameStop. Mostly useless, but there's got to be something there, right? Like you can't have all those employees working on, crypto finance, well, not really digital finance. Sending transactions to exotic corridors and saving money and all this kind of stuff. You can't have them all there doing nothing. They have to have done something. I mean, I don't think David Schwartz has done anything. I think he is a huge has-been fail that got sequestered over there. And that's why there's no other teams that wish they had Schwartz. They're like, stay over at Ripple, dude. You are a loser's loser. So he's over there doing nothing, but I'm sure they've come up with some stuff that's got to be good for something. Anyway, some IP or something, you would think after all these years. But basically, it's GameStop. They haven't really done anything. Their technology is pretty weak. Their own vendors, companies they part own, won't even use the software. Think about that. Like, what? Like, you don't need to look at the lawsuits. You don't need to look at the obvious fraud that was committed. I mean, the obvious fraud that was committed by everybody in that team, but especially Brad Garlic-Mouth, Chris Grand-Larceny, Jed McCaleb, those dudes just issuing themselves tokens, and not even the other shareholders, by the way. They FU'd the other shareholders. They just gave the tokens to themselves. Then, which, like, tantamount to about 20 or 30% of the tokens they just put in their own pocket. Then they realized, oh, crap, people are looking at us. They want to lynch us here. We'll put the rest of the tokens in a escrow and all this. But forget about all that. Pretend none of that happened. Pretend they're all stand-up guys. They didn't cheat. They didn't lie. They didn't steal. They didn't screw anyone over. Their own companies that they part own, that they bought into, that they've invested in, won't use their technology. What does that tell you? Like, if you're a battery if you're a Panasonic, you make batteries, battery division, and Panasonic Batteries buys 2 toy companies, and the toy companies use batteries, but they're like, we can't use Panasonic batteries. They're like, come on, bro, I own you. Like, yeah, you might own us, but we can't put your shitty batteries in our toys. Otherwise, we have shitty toys. That didn't help anybody. This is the problem. Ripple has shitty batteries. People are not using it. I mean, none. RLUSD. Who on earth was going to use that? It's so stupid. You wonder, like, what's going on over there? Is it 6 dudes that are all just uber rich because they kind of fleeced a bunch of investors, and then everybody else, and they're just going to board meetings? It's like a Ponzi scheme. They're like, listen, today's the day. We're going to rise. And they have all this self-help guru bullshit that they read. But you can imagine how ridiculous it must be for them to know how far behind they are. And we're the number 3 or the number 4 project. Yes, because you made 100 billion tokens and you fleeced a bunch of morons into holding them, and you keep the rest locked up in an escrow. So yes, you have a high market cap because you got away with it, because many, many years ago, no one knew the difference. And you guys were the first company to just say, hey, arbitrarily, let's throw an extra 0 or 2 on the back of it. Why not? So a company that should have had 1 billion tokens max has 100 billion. So their market cap is higher. That's it. That's all they got. There's nothing else there. That emperor has no clothes. All right. What was the cutoff date for node factories if you wanted to buy more and receive the upgrade? You need to have them in your wallet and everything by the 14th. Yes, May 14th. May 14th. Yeah, some cool movies coming pretty soon. Dead Reckoning is coming. Oh, snap. And the that's Mission Impossible. And then there was the Flies and Skies and whatever. The one with Harmon fighting people on an airplane. That one looks badass. That's coming. That's opens. I mean, technically it opens tonight, but it opens tomorrow. Oh yeah. Love me some movies. Love it. All right. Let's see. Has anyone seen Gwei price? It's at 17. Haven't seen it that high in a while. Well, I wouldn't be too worried now. Let me see. Let me check on my other little. I don't have it on this computer. Yeah, that's not terrible. Let's see. Is max premium the primary determining factor in whether you choose an in or out of the money put or call? No. There's a lot of factors in what it just depends on you. I mean, I guess part of it is you decide where you think the price of Bitcoin is likely to be this time next week, if you're using Bitcoin as an example. But wherever you think the asset's going to be in a week, that's your base case. You're trying to mine premium, so you want to mine a lot of it at the money strike prices. Premiums are the most volatile. They move almost in lockstep with the price plus that time premium. So you may get a smattering of them. You may get one in the money, one out of the money, 2 clicks out of the money. You might get 4 of them. Like this week, I just closed 3 trades this morning. I got one more that I'm waiting. But anyway, 3 of the 4 closed. That money's banked. I don't know what our percentages are, but I'm sure Brandon will figure that out. But I would bet you we're in the 9% range now, because we still have a few more days before this one closes out. I think we have until like Wednesday before our calendar month. But yeah, so that's gonna be that. Okay, so in your case, you might buy a range and remember, you're mining time decay. That's the whole idea, Joe. You're mining the time decay. You know that every day that clicks off, some of that premium is going to go away on every single contract, assuming the price stayed the same. If the price goes up, time decay still occurred. It would have been higher if it was at that price the day before. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know that's a lot. It's a lot to absorb, but where you sell, this is the beauty of being the casino in this case. If you're the seller, right? Everyone else is gambling on. And another thing too that people don't, or maybe you do think about it, because Bitcoin is so volatile, a lot of people buy insurance essentially. So if you own a bunch of IBIT in a fund, you might buy puts as insurance, especially going into news weeks and trendy type things. So, we are harvesting that too. So it's kind of a two parts of that, 2 prongs of that weird fork. That'd be a 2-prong fork. That'd be like one of those weird steak forks. I got stabbed with one of those things when I was a kid. Dude stabbed me with a steak fork, with the 2-prong steak fork. That's some bull crap. Some bull crap, man. Anyway, I've been stabbed. I've actually been stabbed 3 times. But stabbed makes it sound bad. One was a stabbing. One was a swipe. The other one was a top-down swipe. It was an attempted stab that missed. Well, it didn't completely miss. It mostly missed. It did get some. That's where I got this one. I don't know if you can see it. See that? See that line? That's not age, bro. See? That's a line from there to there. That was from living in Spain, working as a door guy. Anyway, life, am I right? Those people should have been selling options. Okay. Yeah, there's all sorts of news coming out of Hypercycle. There'll be a lot of stuff. I'm guessing as we move into this week of the ANFI, the ANFI cutoff week. Let's see. Do you ever choose an in-the-money trade for premium, knowing you will most likely get put the stock, but you're okay and want that? I almost always choose a few. And the one that I had that was in the money is now out of the money. But yes, because I want the most premium. But I wouldn't get put that, depending on, as long as the market didn't really S the bed on me. If it didn't ripple the bed completely, you're not going to get put. You don't have to get put. You can roll that position. I think we talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago. We actually talked about rolling. Do you guys remember the rolling discussion? Or must we? Where be my notes? Let me look up my notes. I had a discussion. We did a specific discussion about 2 weeks ago about rolling. Let me search. Rolling. Yes. I remember we did it. Okay. Does everybody here understand how to roll a contract? If you do, fine, we'll move on. If more than 4 or 5 people don't understand rolling an options contract, then I can go into it. James, I can go into it. You don't? Okay. So there's one no, another no. Yesterday was a very clear example from you. Okay, good, no. Okay, let's go over it real quick. We won't be horribly exhaustive. But let me see. Okay. I think I had. Okay, I actually did a how to do it. But let me give you an example. I think I can. Let's see. Is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to show you. This was from a few weeks ago, but this will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, everybody can see that? I'm going to make it bigger. Okay. So, real quick, here's how rolling works. You can, okay, when you open a position, you sell to open. We all get that. Great. When you close a position, you're buying to close. Great. You can do those individually, but you can also do 2 of those at the same time. When you're closing a position, you can buy to close and sell to open at the same time. As you see, this is one trade, right? So you can click roll. The roll is a trade. Okay, like it's an option. You can if you look at your options of different platforms work differently, but it'll say sell to open, buy to close. It'll give you a quote thing. It'll say roll. What say you? So basically what you do is you're going to set up and I'm going to even show you, I'm going to go one step further. You set your quantity, and then you're going to set a net credit or net debit. And I will tell you in a second why you're doing this. Okay, so this is what it would look like. Okay, so let me give you the guts of it then. Okay. If you are close to getting put, or you think you're in exactly the right space, you're a few cents either way, you don't want to buy to close the old one, so you can do all at once. So, and this isn't super advanced, but you have to think in terms of a total credit or debit in the roll. A situation might occur where you got at the money, the price of Bitcoin, it ripples the bed. Now you're definitely going to get put in. You can get put in, fine, but you lose that weekend. You lose the ability to make money on the weekend from time decay, right? So to me, it makes more sense to roll that position. Okay? You can roll, and you don't have to roll to the same strike price either. You can roll and just chase it, especially if it gaps down really huge. You're like, uh-oh, something's materially changed. You can roll out even several weeks, months. You can roll out as far as you want, and you can change the strike price. Okay, so that you get a break even or a net debit or a net credit. Net debit means you're willing to give up a little bit. Net credit means you get paid. Okay, so a lot of people don't really think about doing this, and so they're firing off separate trades, or sometimes they panic at the end on Friday and they're like, I'm going to get put. I don't. But anyway, so let's say. We were talking about 43 contracts in this case. So this was a few weeks ago, but you had sold 43 contracts of IBIT. Strike price was $47.50. They expire tomorrow, right? And in this situation, well, let's say it was the $57.50 or whatever, right? And you're like, oh crap, I'm underwater. Each contract represents 100 shares. You know that. So you've effectively taken on the obligation to buy 4,300 shares at the given strike price, right? Even if the price has fallen below, especially if the price has fallen below. No, Bill, this isn't answer questions as they come up day. You shut your mouth, Bill. You shut your mouth, Bill. Anyway, so because we are selling cash secured puts, they set aside in your account enough money to make good on that promise. In return, you got paid a premium, right? That's the income part of the strategy. So if the week gets closer and closer to being Friday and the end of the day, you might say, you know what? The price has gone below, but I think this is a good strike. Or, whatever. Maybe I want to go down one notch, up one notch. You let all that time decay get out of there. So you want to do this with about an hour or two left in the trading day on Friday. Okay? And so rolling the position just means that you're going to close your current trade and open a new one simultaneously with a later expiration. And I like just going 1 week out because you can chase the market a little bit closer, but you don't have to. So anyway, you would roll those puts that expire this Friday, like tomorrow, and you would sell those same 43 contracts that expire next Friday. And the goal is to keep collecting premium while maintaining a very similar market stance. It's like renewing a short-term insurance policy. And so you're offering to insure someone against the downside and you get paid for it. We are insurance providers, right? We are insurance providers. So you go to your open positions, you find the contract you want to roll. In this case, it's the IBIT, whatever, 4750 puts, expiring this Friday. You choose the roll option, which will automatically build a ticket with 2 legs. Okay, and that's what we're looking at right here. There's 2 legs to this. Okay, and the only thing you got to really dial in is the net debit, net credit. So anyway, one leg is to buy to close this week's puts. That gets you out. The next leg is to sell to open, which gets you into next week's position. And you can go with the same strike, a different one. It depends on your strategy. That's all you. I usually use the same strike, but again, you do what works for you. Choose the same quantity. Obviously, if it's 43 contracts over here, it needs to be 43 contracts over there, and enter it as a limit order. This is critical. Limit order. Because if you don't use a limit order, you're going to get filled at some stupid crap price. Because the market is going to kick you in the dick. Okay? Limit orders only. Limit in, limit out, always limits. Nothing else. There's no other reason. Okay, so you're going to see something called net credit and net debit. Okay? Net credit, net debit. I think that's what this other slide was. Yes. Okay. So when you see that net credit or net debit, that's the difference between what you're basically spending to close this week's position and what you're receiving to sell next week's. If the new premium is higher, let's say this one is you're stuck by 50 cents, but the next week is $1.50. You're going to get a net credit of $1. Does that make sense? It's not bad. If it's lower, you might pay, for instance, you might just want to be out of it and just say, oh crap, I think I missed it. I want to back off. Okay, fine. Let's say this one is 50 cents. And you want to find a matching one a little bit further down that's also 50 cents. And it would be a 0-0. It would be 0. Does that make sense? So you're doing when you do both of these legs, it's the net of the amount you're paying for this one and that you're getting for this one. Okay? So it'll be either a net credit or a net debit or a break even. So then preview the trade, make sure everything is correct, make sure it's a limit order. Boom. And so time decay is your best friend in options. So every week that goes by, options lose value as expiration gets closer. When you roll, you're resetting the clock and letting theta, which is the Greek for time decay, it's working in your favor. You're also making a strategic decision, right? You're saying, I still don't mind owning this XYZ asset at this price, but I'm going to take another week's worth of premium and make sure I understand where this market's going, right? So if IBIT stays above that price, you just keep collecting money week after week without ever getting a sign. If it dips below, you can allow yourself to get a sign, or you can roll, and then you can capitalize on the weekend. You say, why would I roll? You would roll because if you allow it to expire and you get assigned, when you get assigned, You can't sell against that weekend. Does that make sense? You get assigned Friday after the market closes. Monday, you have those assets. Now you can sell on Monday, but you just lost half Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You just lost 3 days of time decay. Don't give back that time decay. We worked so hard for it. So let's talk the risk side of that, the brain part of the risk. If IBIT dropped, just got nuked because Bitcoin got nuked, whatever. Bitcoin's illegal in the United States. Shit. Okay. Your put might be deep in the money and you would be looking at getting assigned shares. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But remember, you're going to lose that weekend as far as time decay of selling, being able to sell someone that weekend. So rolling gives you flexibility, and you can also roll down to a lower strike. You don't have to keep the same strike price. If you think Bitcoin's going to go down, you can roll down several steps. You can also roll out in time diagonally. You can change the strike price and you can change the expiration. You can say, listen, I don't want to mess with this for a month. You can sell a month out. Say, I'm going to come back in a month, right? So from a game theory perspective, you're playing a repeated game. Each week, you gather more information about the market, about volatility, about your positioning, where you think things are going, the macro, tariffs, this, that, Jerome Powell, whatever, all these idiots. And you should have seen that guy backpedal yesterday like an idiot. God, he sounded so stupid. Oh, uncertainty is grown. Uncertainty in the labor market and uncertainty inflation. No, not uncertainty and inflation. You stupid idiot. He's like, we haven't seen any of the facts. We in the data, we just haven't seen it. What do you mean? McDonald's turned in their lowest quarter since COVID. Tons of layoffs, BS job numbers, and revisions to the BLS, January, February, March. We just haven't seen it. What do you haven't? You're like, what have you not seen, you jackass? He's such an idiot. I mean, he's not an idiot. He's towing the line. But anyway, regardless, all of these macro things, right? Well, every week you gain more clarity on that. So rolling allows you to get another week of clarity. You get to do what the Fed does. You get to keep kicking the can down the road. But unlike the Fed, you get paid for it. And so each week you get to reassess your stance. And you get to mine the weekends. So rolling cash secured puts is one of the easiest ways to manage your options position, because even if you slightly get it wrong, just roll it out. Roll it out to your right. Bam. See, this is the thing. Okay, anyway, I think we nailed that. But there you guys go. Okay? We nailed it. And I think I do have one more. I think I have one more picture I can give you. It's just a basic. This is all you're doing. I'll leave that up there until we get to the next subject. Boom. But this is all you're doing. Okay. Bam. You're just doing all of it at the same time. Okay, that's it. Bam. And again, on some platforms, there's literally a roll button. You click the roll button and you be rolling, bro. Okay. Whew, nailed it. Look at that. We crushed that question. There's no problem, Bill. No problem. Okay. How do you determine how far away from? That's all you, Joe. You got to determine based on what you think the market looks like. That's a you thing. Okay. I don't think Jerome Powell's an idiot. I think he's borderline morally corrupt. Borderline. He's made a lot of money that he shouldn't have made. He's not a shrewd, savvy investor. He's been on the inside of a lot of information, but so have all those senators and congressmen. That is all a scam. If you did what they did, your ass goes to prison, period. They put Martha Stewart in prison. Nancy Pelosi should have been the first one petitioning for her release. That sorry bitch. They put Martha Stewart in jail for nothing, for like $10,000 worth of insider trading. I mean, nothing. And these scumbags make millions and millions of dollars off of insider trading. Oh, well, it's legal. F you. God, they're so scummy. Anyway, whatever. Jerome is not that bad, but Jerome should not be worth $50 million. They said that guy's net worth is $50 million, which is a bunch of bullshit because that guy's not smart enough. He's not a $50 million guy. He's a $5 million guy. He might even be an $8 million guy. He's not a $50 million guy. He's only a $50 million guy if he's an insider and privy to stuff that the rest of us just aren't. And he is, and that's the way the system works. And so that's what we got. We got what we got. All right. When you're rolling, do you lose the original premium? No. Listen, when you sell something, you bank that premium that second. You have that until you give it back. Yeah. I don't know. I know that Maxine Bitcoin Waters and, you have your Elizabeth Degen Warren, corrupt Warren. She's not on the take, I don't think. I don't know. I say that, but then Brandon brought up a chart that said she was worth $8 million. She's not. There's no universe where she's created $8 million worth of value for humanity. No flipping universe. So if that is the case, she is corrupt. She will, I'm sure, couch it in a bunch of self-serving bullshit. Oh no, I luncheons and I educate. Shut up, bitch. Shut up. No. But anyway, back to the Genius Act. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, it should cruise on through, but you never know. The stuff with Trump and this dinner thing, it doesn't look great. The scummy token thing, it doesn't look great. Yeah. Okay. This is a good one. Tendency to assume that people think the same way we do, even though there is rarely justification for this. Yeah, we all have. We do assume this. We should not. We should not assume this. I go the other way. I assume that nobody thinks the way I do. That's just my general assumption. Okay, let's get into the news, and then if more questions arise, we'll cover them. Good. All right. So, the first piece of fun news. Let's see if I can click on the screen without screwing it up. Crypto heists and North Korea. Ooh, did I do that wrong? Hold on. Bam. What is it? Oh, it didn't do it right. Hold on. Let me get this one here. Yeah, that's some North Korean stuff right there. Okay. So here's what's going on. The upcoming G7 summit in Canada is expected to address North Korea's digital offenses. Apparently, they've done enough damage that these a-holes need to get called to the carpet, including its extensive crypto theft operations led by groups like Lazarus. The fact that they can't just start swiping these guys off the street and just start clipping off fingers and stuff like that until everybody tells everything. Listen, I promise you, you don't need to be a brilliant, you don't need to be an expert in rendition. You need a set of hedge clippers and a ball peen hammer. And if you get any of those guys in Lazarus, any of them, any of those hackers, any one of them, in 14 minutes, I can get you the name of everybody else that's ever worked for them. I can get you their addresses, their phone numbers, all of it. You don't need to be a genius. Dude, these are computer nerds. I will take their fingers off, motherfucker. They have stolen so much. They've done so much damage. The global security landscape has been facing serious challenges from state-sponsored cybercrime groups from North Korea and Russia. In 2024 alone, North Korean hackers stole over $1.3 billion through 47 separate attacks, with the stolen crypto being used to fund weapons development and evade international sanctions. Their tactics have now evolved to include insider threats and shell companies. You guys heard that Kraken just caught a North Korean spy try to apply for a job at Kraken with just terrible, like very low effort, poor effort. Coinbase users are now facing an alarming rise in social engineering scams, with $45 million stolen in just 1 week. This contributed to an estimated $330 million in annual losses. These scams often involve fake support representatives, malware-laced job offers. Oh, yeah, listen, when you guys are getting these text messages for these bullshit job offers, don't listen, write fuck you and then delete and block. You do not touch any links. Coinbase won't text you and say, oh, hey, someone's trying to log in from Europe. All that bullshit. You got to be very careful. Very careful. All right. All right. So, Russia-backed groups like Cold River are deploying new malware called Lost Keys, which enhances their capacity for data theft. Collectively, these developments prove that there is an urgent need for more coordinated global defense strategy. So the G7 is expected to address the growing threat of North Korea's cyber attacks. See, now that all these countries are in the game, they're like, oh, we don't think this is cute anymore. Yeah, no shit. So they're going to talk about cyber attacks and crypto theft at their upcoming summit in Canada next month. While ongoing conflicts in the Ukraine and Gaza will likely be central to the discussions, sources from Bloomberg say that North Korea's digital operations have become an alarming concern that demands coordinated international action. And let me tell you this. If North Korea does anything and steals more than 13 cents from BlackRock, they're going to hire a group of mercenaries to go skin those motherfuckers alive. I bet you there's a little Post-it note or a sign at Lazarus Group headquarters, which there isn't, but like that says, do not fuck with BlackRock. Right? You can go after Michael Saylor. We don't care. You can go after it, but you leave BlackRock alone because he will hire people to murder all of us. All of us. All right. North Korea's cybercrime apparatus, which is led by groups like Lazarus Group, stole billions in cryptocurrency in 2024 alone. One of the most damaging incidents this year was, if you guys remember Bybit, the $1.4 billion exploit targeting crypto exchange. In February, it was the latest. It was not just the latest big hack. It was the biggest single exploit ever recorded in crypto history, right? Because at the time, this is bigger than even MT Gox, which we know that was mostly an insider job by Mark Karpellis. The fact that that guy's still standing, I don't know why people haven't skinned his ass alive. Like, what a scumbag! Oh, the minute the Japanese police arrested him, he was like, "Oh wait, I found 200,000 Bitcoin. I found 250,000. I found it in a cold wallet. Oh, you found it, but you only just now found it once we arrested you, right? What? So the other 850,000 Bitcoin, that's gone, but you found this 250,000 Bitcoin. What was in a thumb drive? It was in your couch, in the couch cushions. And when we were putting your hands behind your back to put the cuffs on, that's when you felt, that's where the hard drive was. That's where you're like, when you put my hands behind my back to cuff me, I found the hard drive that had, 250,000 Bitcoin on it. Oh, woo. Come on, dude. Yeah, look into that guy. That guy is a complete, that guy is a scumbag. Anyway, okay. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, the $1.4 billion Bybit hack was the biggest. It was the largest hack ever recorded. And it is estimated that North Korean linked hackers pulled off 47 other crypto-related heists in 2024 alone, totaling more than $1.3 billion in stolen digital assets. And this is bad because then these assholes flood the market with those tokens to clean them, and we all get beat up. So it's very frustrating. Anyway, yeah, it's very frustrating. Anyway, the illicit funds stolen through these hacks reportedly became a critical financial pipeline for the North Korean regime, helping to circumvent sanctions and support weapon development programs. A September report from the U.S. Treasury explained how these operations allowed Pyongyang to maintain funding for its prohibited military initiatives. In addition to external hacks. North Korea has also been accused of embedding operatives within U.S. firms. The U.S., Japan, South Korea had warned earlier this year that the regime was sending trained tech workers to infiltrate companies as employees, which pose a serious insider threat. Again, if your company finds a North Korean spy and you can't hire the A team, just send me and Brandon a message, and all we require is first-class airfare and accommodations and a hedge clipper with a 3-inch. You know what I'm talking about, the 3-inch for those nasty kind of thick branches that you might have on your bushes. Those hand ones that'll just take a branch off, like those. That's all I really need. Those. I need like a couple gallons of water, some paper towels, some wet, the wet ones. Like, I'm not saying you would, but let's say you wanted to wrap it about the face and you want to lay someone down, you want to pour water on them and like waterboard them. I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying that would be nice to have those things. So give me my clippers. That's all. Give me my clippers and a soldering iron. Now that I think about it, so give me the clippers, give me soldering iron, a ball peen hammer, the water, and my wet naps. That's it. We'll sort out your North Korean infiltration agent for you, and then we can hand what's left over to the police. Anyway, in April, a group linked to Lazarus allegedly set up 3 shell companies, 2 of which were located in the United States. And that's to basically homegrown malware and to scam crypto developers. Yeah, no, waterboarding's not fun. Waterboarding is the opposite of fun. Anyway, this is the amount of stuff that keeps getting stolen. It's a lot of stuff. Look at all that stuff. Look at all that stolen stuff. Sons of bitches. Anyway, crypto exchange Kraken, obviously they thwarted an infiltration attempt. Their chief security officer shared the individual was caught through an internal identity verification test, which they failed. Cybersecurity expert so-and-so of Telefonica managed to expose another suspect during a mock interview. The operative inadvertently revealed connections to known a North Korean crypto scam. What a jackass. You suck, dude. You're a bad spy. If you're a North Korean spy, the first rule in North Korean spying is don't admit you know other North Koreans, you jackass. Like, god damn, what their spy school is sucking. Their spy school is not as good as it used to be. Anyway, on-chain investigator and security analyst Zach XBT recently reported that an additional $45 million was stolen from Coinbase users in the past week through a surge in social engineering scams. This figure adds to an already troubling trend that was identified by Zach XBT. He claims that over the past few months, scammers stole in the many hundreds of millions from Coinbase. And it's just using similar techniques. He pointed out that these scams seem to be a problem somewhat unique to Coinbase. And they're thinking that it could be, it's the result of these text messages, these emails, these kind of scam calls. Oh, your account has been touched 3. It's all bullshit. It is all bullshit. And let me tell you something else. If you're ever on, if any support representative asks you to do a screen share, you absolutely do not do it. No way. No private keys, no login credentials, no personal information other than just to verify who you are. No, man. No. Be very careful. Don't lose your shit. You'd rather have your account frozen for a little while than have it all stolen. Right? So be very careful, man. Be very careful. The Federal Bureau of Investigation also took note of the growing threat in a series of alerts that were issued between July and September of last year. The FBI warned the public about scammers impersonating crypto exchange representatives, fake job opportunities, those job texts you keep getting. Again, what's the response? You say, fuck you, and then you block the number. That's what you do. That's how you respond. That's the polite way, by the way. The other way is less polite. All right. So just be very careful. A new wave of cyber attacks linked to the Russians. They have a threat group called Cold River, and it's raising concerns about among cybersecurity experts, especially after they have this new kind of malware, and it's dubbed Lost Keys. And the malware it's a pretty big step up in their capabilities. So because they try to do credential phishing, right? And they're like these advanced informational theft kind of group. But the infection chain involves a 4-step process, starting with a deceptive lure website that uses a fake CAPTCHA, like the CAPTCHA, like show that this is a tree, show that these are buses, that thing. So once engaged, the site delivers a PowerShell script directly to the user's clipboard. And from there, the malware executes these kind of sketchy evasion techniques before retrieving and installing the final payload of the malware. And then you is screwed. Once active, this Lost Keys has the ability to scan directories, file extensions, extract documents, transmit sensitive information, including active processes, back to its command and control infrastructure. It's bad, man. And so to counter the threat, Google took swift action, flagging the malicious domains in its safe browsing feature to help prevent users from unknowingly visiting these harmful websites. The company said that the targets of these attacks include Western journalists, former diplomats, high-profile figures, which is in line with their kind of established, kind of their tactics. They're looking for information. But the broader cryptocurrency landscape is, the safety is deteriorating. So you have to be much more vigilant. You have to just be assuming everyone is trying to get all of your stuff right now, all the time. Just everybody wants to steal your shit all the time. All the time. So please be careful. Yeah. Okay, cool. We got that. Okay, real quick on the Arizona governor. Let's see. What has happened in Arizona? Well, Arizona governor signs law for the state to keep unclaimed crypto. Wait, what? I gotta put the thing up here. It makes me kind of. I'm like, what the crap is she talking about? Okay, this. They had a chance to be the first state. They weren't. New Hampshire was. They had a chance to be the first state to sign into a law allowing the state to invest in crypto. Nope, they didn't, because Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs is a moron, and clearly she's catering to her banking, her legacy banking homies that got her elected. Is what it looks like, but whatever. So it allows the state, this is so useless, to keep unclaimed crypto and establish a Bitcoin reserve fund that won't use any taxpayer money or state funds. They signed the bill. It was 27 House Bill 2749 into law yesterday. It allows Arizona to claim ownership of abandoned digital assets if the owner fails to respond to communications within 3 years. Who on earth? I mean, I guess unless you're dead. If you're dead, you probably don't respond. But like, what does that even mean? Where would you leave these said unclaimed assets? So the state's custodians can stake the crypto to earn rewards, receive airdrops, which can then be deposited in what Arizona has called a Bitcoin and digital asset reserve fund. The law ensures Arizonans don't leave value sitting on the table and puts us in a position to lead the country in how we secure, manage, and ultimately benefit from abandoned digital currency. What? We're going to lead the way in abandoned digital currency? What the fuck does that even mean? It's so stupid, it boggles the mind. But yeah, that's it. That's the bill. We built a secure structure that protects property rights, respects ownership, and gives the state tools to account for a new category of value in the economy. Well, it protects property rights unless you haven't communicated within 3 years, and then they steal your shit. Arizona's full of shit. Anyway, there's another one on the desk, Senate Bill 1373. And the hope is that this is a gateway. This is a gateway thing. So hopefully 1373 would get signed into law by her. It's already passed through all the channels. It would authorize Arizona's treasurer, which is currently Kimberly Yee, to allocate 10% of Arizona's budget stabilization fund into Bitcoin. I'm going to guess this doesn't go through. And it won't go through because it's pretty clear that the governor is not a big fan of crypto. She said untested assets. She said it a few days ago. So I wouldn't expect too much out of this. This is Arizona trying, I guess, to unembarrass themselves. It's too late. We're already embarrassed. And then finally, Coinbase, our friends to the end. We love Coinbase. Yay. I don't not love it. I like it. It was, for many of us, it was our second or third bite at the apple as far as crypto was concerned, but it was nice to have Coinbase, which is here in the US. Felt safe. Okay. It looks like it is a done deal. Coinbase inks a $2.9 billion deal to buy crypto exchange Deribit. Coinbase will buy the exchange Deribit. I think they're changing the ownership structure in Dubai, where it's domiciled. The deal's priced at $2.9 billion, which includes $700 million cash and 11 million shares of Coinbase Class A common stock. Coinbase, which trades on the NASDAQ under the coin ticker, gained 4% and was trading for $205 per share following the announcement. This is good for Coinbase. Anyway, probably good for us too. Coinbase, which is America's largest crypto exchange, on Thursday announced it had agreed to buy digital asset options exchange Deribit. We were hoping this would happen. It did happen. This is good news. The San Francisco, California-based company said in a company blog post Thursday that the transaction was valued at $2.9 billion. The total price paid will consist of $700 million in cash, 11 million in shares of Coinbase Class A common stock. Rumors of the companies being in advanced talks. This has been for a while. We've been talking about this for about a month and a half. The company said this strategic acquisition significantly advances Coinbase's derivative businesses, establishing us as a premier global crypto platform for derivatives. Remember, you hear derivatives. It's fast forwards, futures, swaps, options, things like that. Those are the main five. Deribit boss Luke Striges said in a statement, "We're excited to join forces with Coinbase to power a new global era in crypto derivatives," and in parentheses, "and we will no longer willy-nilly break the law to line our fucking pockets." That part they didn't quote. When the deal closes, likely before the end of the year, our founders, John and Maria Janis, will step away from the company. Of course, they're cashing out. They don't give a fuck. Marking the end of an incredible journey that began in 2014. The deal, according to the companies, consists of $700 million in cash. That means those dudes are probably putting $250 a piece in their pockets. 11 million shares of Coinbase A common stock, Class A common stock, subject to customary purchase price adjustments. Deribit, a Dubai company, could not immediately be reached for comment, although they already did comment, and they said, we're rich, bro, we're out. Greg Tusser, vice president of institutional products at Coinbase, said that although Deribit still won't service U.S. customers, it will provide the company with key advantages. So I wouldn't hold your breath that we're going to be able to use Deribit anytime soon. Cross-margining across spot, futures, and options. That's capital efficiency that would unlock in the crypto space. So, okay, cool. It would allow clients that are not in the US to buy and sell and bet and speculate on the price of crypto in and around spot services. Yeah. So there you go. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay, that's what we got, bros. That's all we got. That's the news. I'm sure there's some kind of clever thing I could say. But anyway, that's the news. That's what we got. So on that note, I'll bid you adieu. Yeah, do we deposit our private key? Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, yeah. Again, they don't specify. I'm not clear where. I just don't know where lost Bitcoin is. Lost Bitcoin. Where? What does that mean? I mean, I guess. God, can you imagine? You have an account at your bank, and then they come indict you on some bullshit, put you in prison for 3 years and 1 day, and confiscate all your shit. Ooh. Arizona, no, not today. All right. Anyway, stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything that my poor, insolvent, drunk, struggling on meth grandmother or Brandon would not do. The weather's gonna be nice. Oh, geez, it's gonna be balmy. I'm gonna be in the water today, bros. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the green. Enjoy the green, friends. Enjoy the green.
Killing time, no place to go. Everybody's feeling low. All alone in the streetlight glow. You fall into your head. It's all that you want. It's all that you need. Take some time to make believe. It's all that you want.